Welcome back to PowerShell Titans, and then today let's see more about scripts and then how we can start writing the scripts and everything. Today we are going to start with PowerShell scripts, right? So that's the most important thing, and that's the entire core thing of this entire course, right? So that is what we wanted to learn, and then we are going to start. So yesterday, or let's start from the beginning. So what is a script? Okay, script, as I said, in a normal regular world, as I said, let's say script is nothing but a set of instruction given to someone. Okay, let's say it can be, let's say take a movie for an example. Okay, in a movie they write a script, right? There will be somebody will be script writer, and then the script will be called bounded script. Okay, means it will say who has to say what, and then in which location, and all those things. It will have each and every detail, right? So in a movie it will be a bounded script, and the script is something again like let's say two characters are there, they are going to speak this and then this and then this and then this will happen. All those things are kind of predefined, and then one by one sequentially executed as per whatever the script writer has written, right? That is in a regular life, that is what we call it as a script. And let's say in other things, let's say you're gonna give a speech or something. You will also write a script, what you are exactly going to speak, right? You will be actually writing it, and then you'll be following that, let's say kind of bullet points or in a PPT, all those things. You'll be writing that, and then you'll be actually following the script and going in the same flow. So if you take, let's say a public speech or anything, okay, speech or a presentation, anything. So if you see what is the script is, it is just a sequence of commands or actions, right? Like let's say predefined action. Okay, means I mean I'm again talking, not talking about the PowerShell. I'm just saying about these things. They are already written, and we are just gonna follow it. Whoever is gonna use the script, we are gonna follow it, and that is the whole. I mean the general idea of script means. And when it comes to PowerShell, okay, we call it as a PowerShell is a scripting language instead of a programming language. It is not a programming language, and it will be like the script will be list of commands, okay, combined. I mean one by one, okay, combined with some logics. Okay, when I say logics, it can be powered by, let's say it can be a comparison, and then the result of the comparison, and then it can be a loop. Okay, like a if loop, for loop, all those things. So anything. Okay, so basically what we are saying to the PowerShell is, I'm giving you a list of commands, and then I'm also giving you this logic. This logic is something like you can consider this as we are making it as the this list of commands with making as intelligence. Okay, so we know, right? He's let's say in a general words, I mean general terms, we will be saying this guy is a very logical person. Means usually he thinks in a kind of intelligent ways, and then reasonable ways, those kind of things, right? So logic again can be all these things. We will be seeing one by one. We have already started seeing, let's say, comparison operator, and then based on the comparison, if the comparison is true, do this, true, false, do that, all those things. And you remember in the Amazon we were seeing about let's say the AND operation or operation, and if the combination of all the result is something true, then go ahead and filter it, and if it is false, don't do that. So what we are doing is do some kind of some kind of logics. Okay, apply some kind of logic. Based on that, go ahead and execute the list of commands. Okay, Here, this list of commands can also be called block of commands. Okay, block is usually, let's say, any list of commands. Okay, bounded with curly braces is called PowerShell command block. Okay, so if for it will be mostly, it will be just like this. If it is true, do this. Okay, and if it is uh, false, then do something else. Okay, that's the key, right? That is something, the true or false, the binary is where we in our real time also we take the decision, right? At the end, we do lot of analytics and then a lot of analysis and market research, all those things. Let's say you want to purchase a mobile, or you're going to purchase a book or anything, you'll be doing all the reviews, you'll be checking all those things, checking with the friends, anything. At the end, the result will be either true or false. It will be binary. You'll be never, at the middle. Like I may buy, I might not buy. It is again, it is not the conclusion. You are already in the progress of taking decision. At the end, everything will be either true or false. So that's a binary. So everything usually will be ending like this. If it is true, some kind of logic, check the logic. If it is true, go ahead and do some kind of blocks. If false, then go ahead and do something else. That is again a block of PowerShell. So that is usually, I mean, that is what the PowerShell script is all about. Okay. And what we have already seen is, we have seen what is command. So here we are going to change this command as also as a commandlet. That is the official name I said, right? So we have seen what is commandlet, what is the exact syntax of commandlet, how to explore a commandlet, and then and other operators, and all those things we have seen, right? One by one. Okay, so if you see, I was all, keep on saying we are putting everything dots and then we are going to finally put together so that it will be making sense, right? So the script is where we will be making use of all these building blocks. Whatever so far we learned, you can consider all of them as a important building blocks. When I say important, it is not just because I think it is important. When I say important, that is something in a real life people will be using more than 90% of the time. Those are all the things we have learned so far. Okay, and what all the things I know in my 12 years of experience of PowerShell as well as in the training, there are few things we will never use. Okay, honestly, and even though the option is there, and then we will be not using it. Let's take our general language itself. It can be you might be speaking in English, you might be speaking in Tamil, Telugu, Hindi, or any language. And if you see the number of words and then number of um, let's say just take a number of words. Okay, if you will be having in a complete dictionary, you will be having thousands and thousands of lakhs. I mean thousands and thousands of words, right, in any language. Okay, and most of the language will also adapt words from other language, all those things. So dictionary, like let's say any language dictionary has 100% of all the words. At least let's consider that dictionary is updated dictionary. We will only talk, okay, only maybe, okay, the very you are very good in language and you have a very good vocabulary, you'll be only using 10% maximum of the words, and we will not be using most of the 90%. Okay, so let's say people are writing the English exams to go to US, all those things, right? They will be studying all these words, and then they will be trying to memorize, and then they will be knowing the meaning, and then they will also pass the exam. But even though they go, okay, to the US or wherever the country, okay, using the GRE, all those things, GRE, TOEFL, all those things. Finally, they are actually not gonna use it. Even the foreigners will not be using those kind of words. They will be keeping very simple in a day-to-day life. What are all the things we will be using? It will be just only 10% of the things. That's the whole concept. That is the way actually this complete course and is designed. That is how it is actually. So whatever we are learning is something. It doesn't mean we are only learning the 10% of the PowerShell. What I mean to say, what are all the things we definitely require, okay, in our real time. That is the things we've been focusing on much, and we also learned other things. So that's the whole point. Okay. Now, since we learned the important things and also we learned a few of the logic things, now we are going to start writing the scripts. And then first thing is, what is a script? How do we know what is the difference between a PowerShell script and a notepad? Let's say I type a list of commands. Okay, let's say I open a notepad. Okay, and I type get hyphen help and get hyphen service, get hyphen process, and then I save this as let's say block of commandlets, and then I just save it. I'm not typing anything. I'm not giving any extension. And if I open PowerShell and then let's say I navigate to that particular place, okay, and then whatever the one I just type right, and I just type BL and then I press the tab, it automatically fills the full name and it ends with a .txt. I know the inside txt there are all these are PowerShell commands and there are also valid commands, right? There should not be any problem for us to execute it. But the only thing what I'm communicating here is I'm communicating it is a .txt file, okay, and then let's say I just type block and then we know this dot slash means, right? So what we have seen is dot slash is nothing but local directory. So when we put dot slash and the script name, it will be adding the local directory wherever that particular script and then followed by the script name, okay, or the file name. It's not mandatory only the script name, it will be taking the file name as well. Okay. Now I'm typing it, okay, let's say block and then I hit enter and it opens the notepad in spite of it just execute it. Okay, I know this is the list of commands and then but the way I communicate to the PowerShell console and I wanted to say this is a script and I want you to go ahead and execute it, right? I need to give it as a clear instruction, right? For an example, let's say if I type get service, this is something very related to get hyphen service, right? But if I hit enter, it is going to give an error, okay? Reason is that is not how the PowerShell is designed to understand, right? We need to make it understand the way how it will understand. I usually, mention in the examples, right? Let's say we have a protocol set of HTTP protocol, any other protocol, right? Or anything else, telnet or anything. Let's say server one and server two. This is the protocol, this is the syntax, right? This is how they both will be in the same page. Whatever the server 1 talks, the protocol, it will server 2 will understand. Whatever the sequence the server 2 is sending, the server 1 will understand. Let's take the same example of language. Let's say a person 1 talks in a language, okay, let's say it can be English, okay, and then if the person two, okay, doesn't know English or he is communicating back with some other language, okay, then it is going to be a communication problem, right? So only when they both talk the same language, okay, the same protocol, language is nothing but just the words and the sounds, right, of that we make, and that is structured with the words and then structured with the sentence and then structured with meanings, right? So similarly, the protocol is, I mean, let's say HTTP is a protocol. What does that mean? It is bits and bytes, and then bytes will be converted into the commands, and then commands will be put into a kind of a communication signal. So exactly same thing here also happens. So that is exactly here. Let's say you are an automator, okay, automation engineer, and then PowerShell is in the middle or on the other end. When I say PowerShell, it is PowerShell exe or a console, let's say, okay. And we need to communicate it in the right way, okay. If I say .txt, it is going to understand this as a text file. Anything with .ps1 means execute this command. So that is the whole point of why we are using the dot extension everywhere. Actually, not only in the PowerShell, everywhere. Let's say in uh, in an operating system. Let's say you are an engineer or let's say a user, okay, computer user, and then you are using a .exe file. What what is the operating system will be understanding? It is an executable file. I should go ahead and execute it, right? So that is exactly we are communicating just by adding .ps1 to a script, and let us do the same thing here. Okay. Instead of saving it as as it is the text file, I'm putting it in a double quotes and then putting it in a ps1. PS is again PowerShell. One is, and then now I type a block and then hit enter. I could see it's taking that as a script and then actually executing whatever the commands within the particular file. Okay, we didn't change anything. The only thing we did is we changed it as a dot ps1. Now the usual question what we will be asking is, so okay, so ps1 is fine. Maybe it started with PowerShell version 1.0, right? So that is the reason it might be. So is it a PS7 for versions 7 or anything? No. How .exe is executable for any version of Windows or any version of operating system, right? Similarly, .ps1 is a universal PowerShell script extension, okay? And it has nothing to do with the operating or edition. Okay, so it's gonna be .ps1 everywhere. Yesterday we were seeing about the PowerShell module, right? PSM1, those kind of things. That is PowerShell module. Let's not confuse that as of now. So that's the whole point. Whenever we are naming anything, okay, with a .ps1, let's say I'm just opening another file. I'm typing my name, okay, Satish, and then I'm saving this as let's say satish.ps1, okay. And actually what I'm doing, I know, I mean, irrespective of whatever within the command, within this file, I'm still saving it as a PowerShell script, and then I'm saving it, and then when I run the that particular file, it will still consider that as a script and try to execute whatever inside that particular script one by one, and it takes a first line as a command and it says it's not recognized, and so that is what. So irrespective of anything within that, if you just name it as ps1, that is the PowerShell script, and that's the way we communicate to the PowerShell console that we want you to go ahead and execute whatever inside the file. Okay? Now that is the PowerShell, and then PowerShell like script, and then PowerShell how we execute it. Okay. Now again, let's say this one, right? Okay. Now here I just want to display, I mean, I just want to run this command and then show what exactly happens when we type dot. I just put a control C, okay, and then type block, okay. This one, right? If I execute this, okay, this dot slash, as I said, okay, let's say this is the command, okay. When I execute this, what will happen? It will be adding the previous thing, okay, whatever here, okay. It will be adding it in a double quotes, let's say, okay, and then followed by this particular script, and the right way, the exact way or right way to execute any PowerShell script is to give the full name, okay. And if you do not give the full name, okay, it will not execute it. But just to make our life easier, Microsoft made it dot slash will be automatically added, okay. But the right way is to type the complete path and then hit enter using double quotes, okay, and then only it will be working. Now here, let me try this. You see here now, I put it in double quotes, okay, and then I hit enter. It's actually taking it as a script. I mean, it is taking it as a string, and then it is actually displaying back again. Reason is, one of the reason is there are a lot of spaces, okay, and I'll try this one now. In spite of double quotes, I'm again trying the single quotes. Again, it is considered whenever I mentioned, right, let's say whenever we use double quotes or single quotes, everything will be considered considering it as a script, uh, PowerShell, I mean string. So the right way to execute is to add a and symbol, okay, at the beginning, okay, and then followed by this one and hit enter. This is where it will be executing. So again, this is just for an information. Most of the people will not know this, okay. Just for your information, okay. So this is the right way to execute the command, okay. Not double quotes, just the this one or single quotes. Use this one and then followed by this. All this will be taken care if you just put dot slash, okay. And again, you don't even have to put it. If you just type block and then press tab, it will all be taken care. If it is PowerShell, it will also find this symbol, okay, and symbol at the beginning, and it will execute it for you. And whatever I just said, it is just to communicate that you understand how actually PowerShell is working, okay. Now let us execute again, and this is the result we are getting. Now whatever we typed here, right, we are getting a help, we are getting a service, we are getting a process, but what is missing is we are not, as I said, whenever we are starting with hash, what does that mean? It means it's a comment, right? It will not execute. It can be command, or you wanted to stop a command or skip a command, okay. Then you will be actually adding it, okay. This is how you will be adding it, and then so now what I'm trying to say here is why I added here is the objective. There is objective is nothing, okay. There is no meaning, okay. No meaningful action or output here happening, okay. So what does that means? um, I mentioned, right, a PowerShell script is nothing but a list of commands plus some logic to achieve some meaningful objectives, okay. So that is what the whole purpose is. What is the object? It can be anything, okay. It can be like a display, adding to strings or adding to variables, or doing a graphical user interface tool, or doing a very huge inventory process or a project, or you wanted to write a custom module or anything. At the end there should be some meaningful action as an output. Okay, when I say output, not displaying in your console as a result of this particular script, you should be getting something. Okay, something meaningful, that then this is actually a script. Okay, still we can consider this as a script, but as a system administrator, this will not help you anyway, right? So whatever the things we are doing with a list of commands plus logics, and then do some kind of meaningful things, then with an objective, then that is the script, and that is the PowerShell script is all about. Now, being said that, let's see how we can, we say, right, we can giving, by adding the logic we can give it intelligence and then make it happen some things. How we can do it, let us see that now. Okay, so there is something called script flow control statements. Okay, from the name itself you could see there is a script, PowerShell script. Okay, and then we can control the flow. What is the flow? This is what I said, right? If something is true, go ahead and do it. If something else false, is go ahead and do something else, right? So that is what we say control, right? So controlling a flow of the script is done by a few building blocks, and we'll be seeing them one by one. Okay, these are all the things we are going to see today. One is for, or for each, is a different one, and while, do while. Okay, these are the loops, and if, switch, and then break and continue. Okay, now let's go in some easiest way so that we will be able to do it. Mm, okay. Let's go in this order. Okay, let's see first if. Okay. Now let me see what is the syntax. Okay, we were talking about a get hyphen help, right? And if you see all these if for anything, right, all these things will also, we also get easily can get the same kind of help how we are getting the help for let's say commands or anything. Similarly we can get help for these kind of things as well, right? Let's say about if is not a command. Okay, it is a control, controlling a flow. It is a kind of a building block or a logical block, but we can still get a help for that as well. Okay, let's say how is that? Again, the same format, get hyphen help about hyphen if. You could see the syntax. Okay, now this is the syntax. Let's copy, and then I'll be explaining how is that. So syntax is, let's go one by one. Okay, let's define something called mm, let us say a. Okay, or yeah, let us say a is equals to 100. Okay, or 10, let us say. And if okay, and we know the comparison operator. Okay, now see the syntax, if, and then I'm starting the brackets, and then dollar a. It can be small or capital. As I say, there is no a capital or small letter. Everything is case insensitive. And then I'm checking whether is a is hyphen eq. What is eq? Is the operator to compare two variables, or one or more than two variables. We'll be comparing whether it is equal or not, and I'm comparing whether it is equal to 10 or not. And if it is equal, then this particular block will be executing. Okay, let's say write hyphen host a is 10. Okay, and I hit enter. Now this is what happening. I just copy and then paste it here. First thing, if you notice, even though it is all one by one, okay, because in the script we will be actually writing line by line, okay. Since we are in a console, I'm just putting it in a same line so that I can easily show it to you. Now, what is happening is, first thing, if is checking this condition, okay. This is the condition, okay. If the condition is true, okay. Let's say this is the first one. If condition is true, then this block will be executed, okay. And if false, okay, there is, I mean, if false, this block will not execute it, okay. Simply nothing will execute, okay. This is, here we are only using if, we are not using else, if, all those things. Don't worry about this syntax, okay. Just let's go one by one in this one, okay. What I'm doing is I'm taking if and then putting it in a bracket. This condition can be anything, okay. It can be as simple as I just put, right. It can be comparing two things, or you remember in Amazon we have a lot of filters and then we add everything, finally we come to true or false, right. That complicated as well we can have. At the end, whatever this condition we are testing, right, it should be true. And if it is true, whatever followed by in the brackets, it will be executing it, okay. Not only one single line, it will also execute more than one line. Let's say right hyphen post condition is true, okay. Let's say, so the if you see, I'm putting in I'm breaking these two commands by using the semicolon, okay. And we will be just opening a notepad and doing it. Just wanted to show you the command line, okay. First thing is if, and then it is checking some condition. If it is true, whatever within this bracket, it will be executing, and if it is false, it will not execute it. Now hit enter. Since it is true, it is writing both of them. Let's check the alternate. Now it is true and it is executing. Let's say it is, if it is not equal, okay, for that hit enter. Since $a is 10 and is it not equal to 10? It's false, right? Because 10 is equals to 10. When we say is it not equal to 10, that is a false. The result is false, right? So I'll just show you here. This is false, right? And then let's try this. Is a is equal to 10? The answer is true. So if it is true, followed by whatever will be executing. If it is false, it will not be executing. That's the reason, or that is what happening. Let us copy and then start writing our first script, meaningful script. Okay. And I'm gonna do something, and let's see who's actually gonna find it. Uh, okay, I'm gonna save this as only if, okay, and then example one.ps1. Let's put it in double quotes and hit enter. Now I'll explain whatever we just did, right. That's the same thing. I just copied, and in spite of putting semicolon, I just put them all in line by line, so that it will. This is where actually we will start using the things. Okay, this is the first script. So first thing is if, followed by I'm checking something here, and then I'm doing this right host if the a is 10 and then condition is true. Now let me see whether you remember what I was saying about the variable. Now I'm going to execute it, okay, and hit enter. It's not giving anything, right? Okay, let's say if true. I'm just adding one more line. Okay, right host test. This script is actually working. Now let me try, and this is actually getting printed. Okay, because I make it true, and then I'm able to let's say I'll put it like this and save it and then run again. True is a predefined one, and we know if will execute the following one if it is true. So I exclusively directly mentioning this is as a true, and then this is I'm just showing this is getting skipped means it is not executing. Okay, and then it is coming directly here. Okay, it's working, not working, but my question is, did I declare the $a here or not? No, right? But still I'm getting the value, right? It is still saying a is 10, and then you see in here I did not declare a at all, but still it is working, right? So my question is, how is that actually working? Where is this value is coming from? What is the a is 10? Okay, but in the script I'm not even declaring it and then executing. This is where I used to say people will be getting confused. Let's say if we don't understand that, we'll be trying to understand why it is executing or why it is not executing, even though I don't use or declare the a here. Okay, so, but the best practice is not to use it from the console, and then from the we need to keep it within the script. Okay, let's say this is the script variable. Okay, now I'm gonna put it as 10, and then I'm just gonna check whether it is executing or not. Okay, and good job actually. Can we clear the memory before we execute it? You remember how to clear? There was a command I said how to clear a variable. How to clear a variable? Get hyphen help. Okay, variable, variable, and hit enter. So you see this clear variable. So this is the command, clear variable, and you should not put a. Just before that, I'll just show a has a value. Now I clear hyphen variable and a. Now if I dollar, it will be cleared. Okay. So that is how we need to clear. And now this a is nothing to do with the another a. Let's say I'm putting a as 20. Sorry, a is equals to 200. Here I put it, and then here I'm declaring a as 10. Okay. This is the console variable, and this is the script variable, and I'm going to execute it now, and it is still executing it. And if I check the value here, it is still different. Okay. So that is the first point I want to check. So keep always that in mind. We are dealing with the script variable, and keep all the variables here. Do not try to mix and match. Okay, try to keep as everything here only in the script. That's the best practice. Okay. Now we are gonna from now onwards we are gonna slowly move from all the things from console to the script. So everything will be running from script in spite of we share memory or share variables, everything from the console. Okay. Now let's come back to the original topic. That's the that's the syntax. If followed by a condition, and everything will be actually followed by all these things. Okay. If, for, while, do, while, everything will be actually followed by a condition. Okay. The condition will be actually with a bracket. Okay. It is not a curly bracket, just a normal bracket. Okay, and within that there will be a condition. Based on that, it will be executing. Okay, here the reason why I name it as only if is the if will execute. Okay, the following thing. Okay, and there is no else if. Okay, what is else if is, let's say if it is true, it will be executing this. What if, let's say, else? Okay, not else if, I'm just gonna put else. Okay, else, right? I'll just remove this because this is just to show you um, the variable scope example. A is not 10, and right hyphen post condition is false, and I close it. Now from the name itself, if this is true, this will be executed. Okay, whatever this block within this curly brackets. If not, if it is false, okay, whatever in the following curly brackets will be executed. That's a simple, and let's name it as if else example 2 dot ps1. Now let's go ahead and execute it. If else, okay, and then hit enter. Now you see A is equals to 10, which is true, and it is executing the this only this block. Okay, let's name it this as a true block, just for make the concept easy to understand. Okay, is this false block? If it is true, this will be executed. Okay, and if it is false, this will be executed. So intentionally, let's make it false. Make the A as 20 and then execute now. Now it is executing the false, right? It is saying A is not 10 and condition is false. Correct? So that is if, and then the other one. Now, let's say I have two conditions. Okay. One is if A, okay, less than or equals, okay, or let's just keep it equals. I mean, just simple. If I my objective here, let's keep this. I'll be usually using this as best practice actually, so that everyone knows what exactly I'm trying to do here. Objective here is check variable or A is between uh, 5 and 25. This is what I want to check. So how will I check? First, I'll be checking whether the A is greater than 5. Okay, so I'll make greater than 5. If is it true? Okay, I'll check. I'll mention A is greater than 5. Now I'll be adding one more condition. Okay, I just copy and paste. Okay, copy, and in the middle of if and else I'm putting. Okay, and here in spite of how I have another if, I'm adding else. Okay, meaning first condition and then second condition. If these two are not, I mean, we'll go one by one. Okay, first condition, we check whether it is between 5, right? Okay, I check is this greater than 5, it will check. Okay, 20 is greater than 5, it will execute. Now there is one more condition. Is it less than 25? I'm making this as let's say 15, which is between 5 and 25. Okay, now is 15 greater than 5? True, right? So I expect this to run. Now else if I'm also checking this condition, $A, which is 15, is less than 25, which is also true, right? And I expect this to execute, and if they both are false, then go ahead and execute the last one. Okay, here I say less than 25. Okay, now let me go ahead and and then what is happening here is this is true, right? And this is also true. But what will happen if when I use the else if is it is kind of it will check one by one, okay? Like first whether if this condition is true, it will execute it, and this complete block, okay, this complete block is called if block, okay, this from right from if till here this is called if block. The script will completely ignore execute this and ignore whatever in the rest of the if block, okay, and then it will ignore all of them and it will come out of the script. I'll say again, okay, if else if or else is called if block, okay, and in case of any one condition is true, following block will be executed. When I say following block, just the next block, okay, and then it will skip everything else next to that block. That's the whole idea, okay. Now what is happening, it is checking the we'll say if to else if is the one block, okay. Let's say here I say if block is started, and here if block is ended. So this is where the block started and ended. Now first condition, is it true? In case of any condition is true in the block, okay, in the if block, only the following thing will be executed, only this will be executed, okay, and everything will be skipped, everything else will be whatever this following things will be skipped automatically, and then it will go to the next step. To prove that, let's type here write hyphen post executed successfully and exit, and I save this and then I run again. You see the first condition is met because A is in fact greater than 5, 15 is greater than 5, and this block is executed, and as I said everything else is skipped, and finally finally it's not like it will go to the last line, it just skip this block and go to the next line, okay, and it will continue executing the thing. Now since this is true, this is executing. Let's make this as a false. Instead of greater than 25, let us make greater than 30. Is 15 greater than 30? No, right? That is false. So I expect this to false. So this is false. But dollar $A, which is 15, is less than 25 is true. I expect this to be executed, which is A is less than 25. Okay. And let us try to execute it now. Currently you see A is greater than 5 is executing, which is this block, okay. Let's say block number 1, this is block number 2, okay. Condition true, condition 1, this is 3. Now I hit enter and you see the condition true second is executed, which is A is less than 25, and again irrespective of which block is executed, it will continue to the next one and then execute the following scripts, okay. It will just skip everything else and then go to the next line and keep executing the thing. And I'm just going to make it little bit complicated here, okay. Now we have if, and then we have else if, and then else, right. I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to add one more block, okay. And this block is, let's say I'm also going to make this also false, let's say equals, I'm checking whether A is equals 25. I'm intentionally making this as false, and I'm making this as the third block, and this is the fourth block. Okay. Okay. Now the intention what I'm trying to do here is I'm just trying to showcase we can have any number of else if okay here, okay, any number of else if. All you need to have is one if is the minimum thing, and you can have only one else. Between the else and if, you can have any number of else if. That's the point here. Okay, so there is no limit at all for else if, and it's also not mandatory. Okay, means you can have zero, I mean not, no else if at all. Okay, the same thing is for else as well. Okay, but there is only one thing, you can have only one else at the very end. Okay, only one else block. Okay, at the very end, and after else block you cannot use else if or if or anything. Okay, so if should be definitely mandatory, followed by a condition, and else if is non-mandatory and it will have a condition also. Else will not have any condition. Okay, it should not. Okay, should not have any condition, and there should be only one block. I'll just go through one by one whatever the statements I made. Okay, first thing, initially we just have only if, right? That is what I say here. Only if is mandatory. If you are planning to use if, you should have a if followed by a condition followed by the block. Okay, and the block can be also empty, but I mean that doesn't make sense. So as of now, let's say it should not be empty, and then it can be just if. That's the first condition. Second condition, you can have any number of else if, okay, followed by a condition. Okay, any number of else if. And third condition is you can have only one else in any if block. Okay, and it should be at the end, and there is no condition followed by else. Okay, so that's the simple, I mean that's the whole structure of if, else if, else, all those things. Okay, and based on our need, it can be just if condition followed by block, or if followed then else followed by the block, or else. And the third syntax is if followed by else if condition, and it can be any number, and finally it should end with else. So this is the case 1, this is the case 2, and this is the case 3. And one more important thing is, if you use else if, it should, it's mandatory, okay, to have else. It's a kind of if you have else if, you should definitely end it's a kind of incomplete syntax, so you should end it with else. Okay, can have only if or if else. If you have else if, you should end it with else. So that's the three cases. And if else, we are starting with that because that is one of the most used thing to take a decision. It is very similar to our real time, right? If something is true, go and do this. If not, go and do something else, right? So that is why we have started with if. Now let's go with for. Okay, for each, for each, and then here I have for each. Okay, this is the syntax for each. Okay, let's start with for each. Okay, and you could see what is the command I executed, right? The command I tried is get hyphen help, and then this one, get hyphen help about underscore for each. If you almost type anything about underscore, you will be getting all the help files. Okay, let's say about underscore for each, all those things. But again, don't try to remember anything. Just always go with our exploring method using for, you know, get help. Okay, now let me put this syntax to easy to understand. Okay, what is for each? Okay, let's say I'm a teacher. Okay, and I'm going to a classroom, and then I'm going to give the, let's say, an assignment for each and every one. Okay, an individual assignment for each and every one to complete it for tomorrow. So here what I'm doing is consider this complete classroom, okay, as a complete collection of students, right? So collection, each and every student, as we say, everything in PowerShell is an object. Similarly, let's say consider a student is considered as an object. Okay, even student is, I mean, teacher is an object. Okay, here what is happening? The teacher takes let's say I'm going to the classroom, I'm calling each and every one student, and then I'm, having one on with them, and then I'm giving them a specific assignment matching their skill set or whatever they are lacking, and then I'm sending them and then asking the other one to come and then doing the same thing, assessing what they are lacking, and then based on that I'm giving some assignment to them, and then sending them and then asking the next people. So how long it will go? It depends on this one here. Like how many people are there in that particular classroom, right? So for each of them, okay, here is the very simple example or simple thing what I'm doing. For each, okay, let's say student in students collection, or let's say classroom, okay, I'm giving let's say give some assignment. This is what actually happening, right? If I say it in PowerShell language, for each I'm taking one by one, okay, from where in the classroom, and then giving them the assignment. That is exactly the way it is actually the syntax is. For each, okay, followed by the each and every item. Okay, here it can be anything. Okay, but as I mean, let's say when I say anything, I'll show you what does that means. Followed by in. Okay, in is from the collection, in this collection, and followed by some kind of statement related to this item. Okay, here give some assignment to whom, to a particular or let's say when I say particular student, let's say current student. Whenever we say current student, let's say or current student, how will I mention it? Current object is dollar underscore dot student, right? So that is the dollar underscore dot we have already seen, right? So let's see that one by one now. Okay. Now here dollar underscore dot will be used in a different way. Okay. Let's take an example here. Let us say share a screen. Okay. And let's take this example. The letter array. Array is something we haven't seen yet, right? So as of now, don't worry about that. Let's say list of services. Okay, is equal to get hyphen service. And as we know, this variable will be actually have all the list of services. Okay. Now my plan is to do something with all these list of services using the for each. So what I'm gonna do for each. Okay, and I'm putting dollar, and this variable whatever I'm going to declare, okay, can be anything. I'm just going to say current service in list of services. Okay, and whatever I'm going to do, it will be always in brackets. Now if you remember, I said right in the syntax when I was explaining the let's say the syntax of PowerShell, I mean, if and the condition, everything, if, while, break, I mean, if, for each, while, do, while, everything will be followed by a condition. And a condition will be actually, you know, covered with the bracket or braces. So that is exactly we are actually doing here as well. Okay. For each followed by a condition. Okay. What is the condition? Take each and every service, current service from this particular services list, and then this is the condition bracket, and then do this some kind of operation. What is the object? What is the thing I'm going to do? That I'll decide now. Get or write hyphen host. Okay. I don't know what is that current. Now, what is happening? I'll show you. For each, okay, will take each and every object one by one, okay, and assign it to a variable called current service, okay, and it is gonna print whatever the value of it, and here it is printing the name of the service, okay. Now I mean how many times it will print, it depends on how many services are there, and this will keep on execute one by one for each service in all these collection, and then it will keep on print till it completely ends with the complete collection. So this is how it will be working, and let me put it in a script for each. Okay, here I'm going to show you one more thing as well, okay. We know already that scope services, right? So instead of that, I just put it here, get hyphen service, okay. And this is what, and I'm going to save it as for each in dot example one dot ps1, and I save this and clear the screen for each and hit enter. That is exactly what the same output, okay. So I get some list of service, and then I'm putting it here, and then each and every service is, every time this current service will be changing because it is taking from this particular list, and then it is actually printing. While printing this first service, this current service variable will be, reflecting the first service, and then the second service, and then the third service, so on and so forth. Okay. Now let's see another example. Get hyphen child item, okay, hit enter. We have all of them, right? Now let's say I'm putting all these as files, okay, and I'm putting here. Now, what I wanted to do is files for each for each. I'm just typing file. It is not files again. Okay, it is. I mean, just I'm for easy understanding. I'm naming it as file. I can name it as anything, but just to easy understand, I'm making it as file. And in files, okay, and it can be write host or anything. But as of now, let's say write hyphen host. Uh, dollar file dot name comma dollar file dot last write time. I'm not sure is with whether this will work, but let me check. Here, it worked, right? Now the point here is this current service is reflecting all the complete service. Okay, it is not only the name. Okay, that is the whole point. So what I'll do here is I'll just copy here. Okay, and then I'll create a new one for each, and I will also print only the file. Okay, so that I'll see what is actually PowerShell is displaying when I display that. Let's say for each example, two, and then double quotes and double quotes, and hit enter and clear the screen. Hit enter. Now, what is happening? First thing, since it's looks messy, I'm just going to add some decoration. First thing, um, file value, okay, from, or let's say default file object value, followed by this, okay, and then file name is whatever the file name, and file last write time is so and so. I save it and run it again. Here now I could see default file object value is whatever that particular file name, followed by the file name I'm just mentioning here, and then last write time I'm taking it here and then displaying it, right? So that is what for each will be doing it. Okay, there is also other for each. As of now, we'll be just this is the simple example. Okay, so we have seen two examples. One is for each for serve. Again we go back to our own very own fundamentals, which is let's say get hyphen child item and get hyphen member. This is where I'm getting all these things. So let's say the name or last write time. Okay, let's try this extension. Okay, copy this and paste it, and then file ex extension is file dot extension. Let's try to execute this. You see the file extension dot .ps1 dot .txt, everything is displayed. Did I come up with this from my memory? No. This is all again from the same basics, right? Get hyphen member is where I explore it. From there I take it and then I'm displaying it. Okay. Hope this is helpful, and then let's go to the next one. Okay, I'm going to show one more thing. Get hyphen help about underscore for each. Okay, this is a good one. Let's try this. Okay, we are going to add. Okay, whatever we have seen so far, right? For each as well as if we have seen, right? We are going to add both of them. What we are going to do? Get hyphen child item, right? We are going to get hyphen child item and then put it in files. Okay, and then for each file in files. Okay, I said right, for each and if ex1.ps1. Let's save this. Okay, sorry, files. Uh, it's not, I mean, whatever the tab and doing, right, it is nothing to do with there is, even though there is no tab, it will execute the same way. Even though there is no space, it will execute the same way. The tab, everything I'm making, right, that is for me to easily read. Since it's only few lines, I'm able to understand. If it is, let's say, 1,000 lines of code you are writing in future, if you write it in this format, let's say for each condition bracket and next one, press a tab and then start, and then followed by that, and whatever you are putting in the brackets, press the tab and then put it, so that you know in this block these are all the things there, in this block these are the things. So you will, it will be easier for you to read. Okay, now what it does, it takes all the child items, put it in a files, and each and every file it is check the length, and if the length is nothing but the file size, okay, the file size is greater than KB, it will be printing all these things for us. Okay, the length, the file last access time. Let's go ahead and try it. Okay. I think there is nothing is because all these small files, right? Let's make it as 1 KB. Okay, here we go. Because 100 KB, all the files whatever we have, right? dir. Let's try get hyphen child item. Okay, and then fl. You see here, or let's fl only the name and then hit enter. You see, it's only 224. Okay, all these are bits. Okay, not what it is saying is KB. Okay, whatever you are seeing is 581 is greater than 10. I mean, whatever the 100 KB. Okay, but whatever you are seeing here is bits. Okay, not bytes or KB, it's all bits. Okay, so everything is smaller than 10 KB. So I made it as 1 KB and we are getting only few things. Now get hyphen child item. Let me count it. 13 files, right? Now I execute this. How many files we are getting? 1, 2, 3. So only 3 files exceeds 1 KB. Okay. So you understand we are actually mixing for each as well as if. Okay. And again, both are just now we have seen. This is the condition. If the condition is met, it will be executing. If the condition is not met, initially it didn't print anything, right? Let's say we put it as 100 KB. Nothing is more than 100 KB, so we are not getting any result because this is false. Whatever inside, it will not execute. Only if it is true, it will execute. So to make it true, I made it like this, and then it is executing. That's for each another example. And let's say All right. I mean, I get. I think that's enough for each, and then let's go to the next one, which is similarly we have for loop. Okay, we just that. Okay, get hyphen help, and this is the for loop. Okay, I'll be explaining what is the syntax. Okay, and it might be looking a little bit confusing if you are very new to programming things. But as of now, again, till you get the hang, everything will might look a little bit confusing. But don't worry. Okay, if you just try and ask all the questions in Q&A, you will be fine. I'll just explain it very simple in a simple manner. This is the syntax again. Okay, so where I'll be using this is, let's say I wanted to count. Okay, count from 1 to 10. Okay, and whenever I count, I wanted to start with 1. Okay, start from 1 and increase 1 by 1, means 1 and then 1 plus, and then which is 2, 2 plus 1, and then 3 plus 1. Similarly, okay, this is how we will be counting, right? Let's say if I ask you to count how many people are there in this room, you will be counting 1, 2, 3. So what you are doing, you are just adding 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, right? That is what actually happening. We have 1, and then 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 1 is 4, and we are, that is how we will be counting in anywhere, right? When I say when somebody asks you to count something, you will be counting like that. And this is what actually we are doing, right? 1 and then 2 and 3 and then 4. Let's say we want to count from 1 to 10, and we start from 1, and then I want to count till some condition is met. Okay, so that is the condition where it will be, if you see everywhere there will be some kind of condition. Okay, in all the loops there will be a condition, and here what is the condition? I'm just saying count. Let's say I'm saying, let's say you are saying me to go ahead and purchase 100 coconuts. Okay, and I'm going, and then I'm going to the shop, and then I'm purchasing only 100 coconuts. Okay, in that case, what I'll doing, I'll be count 1, 2, 3, and then once it reached 100, okay, or whatever the count you are saying me to purchase, once that is reached, I'll be stop counting. I'll pay for that. I'll become I'm coming back, right? So that is the condition. That is the kind of condition we are talking here. Okay. So let's say the same kind of condition. Okay. And here you see the three things. One is, this is init, they say, right? That is nothing but initialization. Okay. Meaning, in other words, start. Okay. Starting value, let's say. Okay, and second is condition, or let's say when to stop, and repeat is what is the number you want to increment. Okay, I'm saying here count one by one, right? Sometimes when we are buying banana or some other, let's say, few things will be purchased in a pair, right? Some things we will be getting in a pair, let's say pair of chapels, and then pair of all those will be coming in pairs, and when we are purchasing banana, it will be like 12 or 6 in that combination it will be coming, right? It is in the dozens it will be coming, right? So in that case it will not, I mean, there is no need to count in 1 2 3. I can, in a case of banana, I'll be counting half a dozen, 1 dozen, 1.5 dozen, which is the increment of 6, right? So when I count the pairs, okay, pairs of eyes or pairs of let's say chappals, all those things, shoes, all those things, right? In that case, the count will not be 1, right? When we are counting something, generally it will be increasing by 1, and then 1 1 1, right? 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. But sometimes it will be pair, so the repeating value will be 2 in spite of that. And sometimes it will be, let's say in the case of banana, it will be like dozens, which will be multiplication of 6 or 12, right? So based on what we are actually counting or in what manner we want to count, this will be changing, right? So that is what all about. So initial value is from where I need to start. Okay, let's say I said you right, I want you to go and purchase 100 coconut from particular shop, let's say shop ABC. I go and purchase, and then you are asking me to go and purchase another 100. Okay, and here, even though I count from another 100, I will not be actually count from 100. I will be actually counting from 101 and then counting till 200, because already I got 100. So the initializing value is not 100, it is actually 101. I mean, initially when I purchase the first 100, it will be starting with 1. But when I purchase the second pair, or when I want to start from 101 to 200 till 200, top value is 200, and it is one by one it will be repeating. Okay, so let us try to do that one by one. Let's copy this, and then I put it here. I'll make it as a hash so that that is that will not execute. It is just for your reference. Okay, now I'm going to declare everything separately. Okay, I is nothing but let's say for easy understanding, I'm going to be, that is the first value. Let's say I'm going to start from 0. Okay, and when I want to stop, right, the final, I mean how much I want you to chase, right, or count, right? Let's say that is the final or total. Okay, that is something till 10. Okay, and how I, in what manner I want you to count? Should I do I want you to increment, let's say incremental value? Okay, this is again just to make you understand. I'm keeping all these names so that you will be able to understand. Incremental value is 1. Okay, so this is 1. I'm gonna for dot ps. Okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a for $I, okay, is equals to 0. Whatever I'm doing here, right, I'm doing here. And $I is equal to 0, and whatever I'm doing here actually I'm doing here itself. Okay, I don't have to do it explicitly in a new line, starting with 0 till when I is less than or equals to total. Okay, I can directly mention 10 here. Okay, just to make it easier to understand, I'm just declaring 10 here differently. Okay, in a different place, and then here is the incremental value, which is I is equal to plus plus. Okay, so before I show this, what is the I this strange $I plus plus means? Before I show that, I'll just quickly give you a demo or an example. Okay, let's say something called a number. Okay, number 1 is 100. Okay, if I want to add another number, I mean I just want to increment it by 1. Okay, I wanted to increment it with 1. Okay, for that what I should be doing is number 1 is equals to number 1 plus 1, right? So that it will increment by 1, right? Like a count down, there will be count up, right? So I want to count up number 1 to 101 and then 102. Now let's type what is the value here. The value is 101. Now again I repeat the same thing. Now what is the value? 102. Now 103. So this is what the actual formula to keep on increment. What I'm doing, I'm taking the number, okay. Again, you remember whenever we are using equals, it is an assignment. So you should not start reading from the right side. You should start, I mean, you should not read from the left to right. You should start reading from the right to left. Means whatever is equals on the right side of the equals, first read this. So don't even consider this part. Okay, don't even consider, just consider this part. What is this? Dollar number 1 is 102. Okay, it is adding with 1. Okay, done. Now what we are doing is we are assigning the new value to again the same number 1. Okay, it's just like how we, let's say we say A as 10, 100, and if we assign A is equals to 100, the A will change to 200, right? Let's say I say A dollar A, it will be whatever the value here, it will be assigned to A again. Okay, similarly whatever the value number 1 has, it will add 1 and then it will assign back again to number 1. Now the number 1 will be incremented to 1. Okay, so this is what we are doing in the increment or decrement. Let's say I want to keep on decrement it. Okay, decrement in the sense, let's say number 1 is 103. I wanted to decrease 1 by 1. Okay, what I will do, I just minus 1. Now the value is 1. Okay, again number minus 1. Again it is it's reduced by 1. Again, you see the point, right? So if I put minus 1, it will keep on decrease, count down. If I put plus 1, it will keep on count up. There is a shortcut. If you see, I mean, kind of I'm typing the plus number and then number, and it looks I have to type dollar number 1 again and again, right? 2 times. What if there is a shortcut for that? Okay, the shortcut is number 1, just type plus plus, means it will add 1 with that. Okay, now the value is 99. I'm just typing plus plus and then hit enter. Now I'm display the value. You see the value is 100. It just added 1. So that is what we are doing here. If I put dollar I plus plus or whatever the number plus plus, it will just add 1 with that. Okay, and again let me try again. Now the value is 100. Now I'm gonna make it display it again 1. I added plus plus and it made it to 101. Again 1, add 1 and then display. So this is the shortcut. This one, right? This is the one keep on changing. So let's say I want to display right hyphen post current value of I is dollar I, and I save this and I clear the screen for loop, hit enter. You see, this is how this script will be executing. First, total 10 is declared. Okay, and then incremental value is I wanted to show you one, but I mean to start now I reduced, I mean take it off because I shown you what is this means. Okay, now only one thing I have it now. Dollar z I is equal to 0 declared right here. Okay, and this is the condition. Condition is till this condition is met, this will keep on executing. Okay, first thing is 0 is 0 less than or equal to 10, which is true, means go ahead and print the value, and in the next step add one more. Okay, this is what will happen. first initialize I as 0. Now check whether I value is lesser than or equal to dollar total, which is 10. And then if the condition is true, then write or print the value, the current value of I, okay, which is dollar I. Then, okay, increase dollar I value by 1, which is dollar I plus plus, that's a shortcut. Now go back and check the condition again. Whenever we say go back, it's gonna loop, right? It is gonna, let's say it's starting here, it's printing, and I'm saying go back. Means it checks this, do this, do this, go back to the condition, means it's going to the check the condition is true, again go back, it will be keep on going like this, right? It will, these three things will be keep on going, and when this will be coming out of it, check whether I value is lesser than or equal to 10. When it is lesser than or equal to 10, it will execute. When it is greater than 10, it will execute. I mean, this particular loop will be executed. So, when I or let's say condition is false, then exit the loop. This is what exactly happens in all these things. Okay, this is not only for I, okay, I mean not only for this instance, this is what always happen whenever we do this. First it will initialize something, and then it will check the condition, and then it will not do anything here. Okay, third thing is it will do, go ahead and print whatever, I mean do whatever within this brackets, and then it will increment it by 1. Okay, and then check the condition again, and if the condition is true, loop back. Okay, loop back again. When the condition is false, then exit the loop. Okay, only when the condition is false, this will end and come out. Now let's check that again, why it actually printed. Okay, first thing, it initialize, this is kind of one time. Okay, one time execution, it will not keep on declare. Okay, at first time it declares as a 0, fine. Now check whether it is equals or less than 0, or less than 10. 1 is less than and equal, I mean less than 10, right? Okay, now it increased 0 to 1. Okay, again it check whether the 1 is less than or equal to 10, which is true. Again it increase, and it reaches to a point where dollar i's value is 10. Okay, now only can focus only this one. Okay, this one. Now check whether, now let's say dollar I is 10. 10 value is lesser than or equals to 10, right? Is it less than or equal to 10? No, because next time it is going to increase the because 10 plus 1 is 11, right? Now the 11 is not lesser or equal to 10. So this is when it will be actually the condition will go false, and then it will come out of it. Okay, so I'll put it in this way so that it will be easier to understand. First initialize and check it, and then increase it, and then print. Okay, first it is print I mean This is the right order. Uh, so this is exactly it is gonna happen. Okay, let's try one more example. Okay, file save as for loop example 2.ps1. Here, instead of total, let's say sum. Okay, and let's say 20. Okay, and instead of I, let's say I can declare anything. Okay, but always try to declare I so that you know it is an initialization point. I start from 10, not from 0. Okay, I keep the same thing, and here instead of total, I just again just to show this total I, all these are variables. Okay, that we can change. Then only it will keep increment. Okay, otherwise it will not increment. Now let us go ahead and try to execute it. For loop example 2. Now it actually happens the same thing, but only thing is it's starting from 10, it goes till 20. Once 20 is done, it will increase one more time, 21. It will check whether that 21 is less than or equal to 20, which is false, then it will come out of the loop, right? That is the thing. Again, as of now, it might look confusing. I'm saving everything, so I'll be putting it to you for hands-on. Try it and then let me know. The last thing, for loop example 3.ps1. I just the history I just show you. Okay, you remember this one, right? Number -1 will decrease and +1 will increase, and plus plus is the shortcut for incremental. Similarly, let's say number, what is the number value? Number value is currently this one, right? If I put plus plus, it will increase, sorry, uh, it will increase by 1. If I put minus minus, it will decrease by 1. 103 to 102, right? It decreased. So we are just gonna do that now. Minus minus, okay, and here, since I'm gonna decrease, okay, I'm gonna start from 20, or let's say I'm gonna start with 10, and then I'm gonna end with 0. Okay, now my condition is I'll be starting with 10, and I'll check whether I is greater than this value. Okay, then decrease 1 and print value and go on and so on and so forth. Let's try it and then you will see the thing. Before that, I'll execute for this is incremental, right? Now this is decremental. Okay, the all I just did is, in spite of counting from 1 to 10, now I'm counting 10 to 0. Okay, 10 to 0, and we'll be seeing why all we are all doing all these things. As of now, no, there is something called decremental value as well as incremental, and that is how we will be doing it. And I'll be putting all together and then I'll let you know. So what are the things we have seen so far? We started with what is PowerShell scripting, and then it is just a list of commands, and then plus the logics. We just said, right, whatever we did, everything is some commands with I mean any command without any meaningful I mean no meaningful action is not actual command, so that we have seen. And then we put for loop if all those things and make it give some intelligence to do some meaningful action based on the conditions are true or false, it will execute it. And we also seen why dot slash means and what will happen, and why we need to put dot ps1 as an extension, and is that going to change in version 1 or the 1 and 7? No, it is not going to change. And we have seen if and if else, and then if else and else if and else, and then we have seen for each and for. And all these things are very important. Similarly, we are going to see other things as well in upcoming session. Now, as of now, we'll end it because as of now, you might be, it might be very stuffed for you, and then very complicated. Look, might be complicated, but try everything today itself, okay? And then so that you can come up with all your questions in tomorrow's Q&A session, and we will clarify. Then we will move on to the next thing. And I'm pretty sure if you understand these just two things, only any one of these two things, you will be understand all the other things just like that, because everything else will be the same format. Okay, so that's all so far, and let's end the session today.